REDBLACKS, come on in.
Are in that same stadium. If they want some fans to continue to come out, they have to win this game.
You know, Milt, the team that humbled that was humbled by the Eskimos last week, it was the REDBLACKS. They humbled themselves. They've got to do a better job of eliminating the penalties, the things they're doing wrong. As a coach and a player, you're playing the game against yourself. It's not against an opponent, and they made way too many mistakes last week. Edmonton's touchdowns were based on penalties that the REDBLACKS got. The REDBLACKS get back into the game with an interception by Javon Johnson. What happens? Illegal contact on a receiver. Their bench even got a penalty last week, Schultze, so they got to clean those things up.
Well, this is what I believe about football. I think if you want a game bad enough, you will win that game. The REDBLACKS came out, they played Edmonton in Edmonton, and the conversation was we were flat. Being flat is an excuse that you should never, ever express because you have an entire week to prepare for the game. That's an entire week for players to get themselves in the right mental frame of mind. I think Ottawa is going to show up tonight, and I would not be surprised at all if they won the game. Because if they don't, I agree with you, Milton. I think this is the biggest game in this young franchise's history. They got to win this one.
Well, they're 1-0 at home. They're 2-1, tied for first in the East later on. Saskatchewan and BC as the Riders try to bounce back. Right now, it's the REDBLACKS trying to bounce back and back home at TD Place. Kickoff's coming up here in Wendy's Friday Night Football. Back in Dwayne Ford.
Hello, Canada. Drizzly night in the nation's capital. The forecast is rain. It will rain all night. Round 2, Eskimos and REDBLACKS.
This Ottawa team looking to shake off a beatdown that they took at the hands of these Eskimos last week. One guy they need to get more involved offensively is Siobhan Walker, and to do that it means they can't put themselves in a hole early. The guy trying to keep Siobhan Walker in check, always one of the busiest tacklers in the Canadian Football League, middle linebacker J.C. Sherritt of the Edmonton Eskimos.
Defensive guru, head coach Chris Jones. Doesn't need a rain jacket, obviously. He doesn't care. Ball security will be paramount tonight. Have to hang on to the football. In this kind of weather, Rick Campbell says we can control everything if we can control ourselves, meaning the REDBLACKS. Dark skies tonight. That Sky Dawson ready to return the football. Delbert Alvarado will kick it off. Last week in the Alberta capital, this week in Canada's capital. It is the REDBLACKS and it is the Eskimos. Here's Dawson. And he's brought down at the 35-yard line by Malik Jackson. Matt Nichols, who got his first win as a starter last week as the Edmonton Eskimos bring up their offense.
Well, he had a lot of help last week, of course, from Darius Bowman, who seems to always have big games against these REDBLACKS, and Kendall Lawrence, who is outstanding. He'll be back at slot. The rookie Shakir Bell is in at running back for the injured Chad Simpson this week. First-round pick Danny Grew makes his first career start at guard.
Nichols turns and fires. And a nice move by Kenny Stafford.
Kenny Stafford, the former Montreal Alouette, the man who was acquired for Fred Stamps, who had a big game for the Owls last night. He's involved in the bubble screen. Now, it wouldn't surprise me with Darius Bowman getting a little bit nicked up at practice this week. Wouldn't surprise me a bit to see Kenny Stafford a little bit more involved in the offense this week, running some of Bowman's routes.
There's Bowman. And the ball almost picked off his first route. slippery ball in and out of his gloves and almost intercepted. So it will be 2nd and 10 now for these Eskimos.
Defensively, a couple changes on the D-line. Moton Hopkins in for the injured Jonathan Williams, looking to get some push on the inside. Justin Capicati led this team in sacks a year ago, is back in the lineup at end. Of course, Javon Johnson is the veteran in a young secondary.
Eskimos have struggled on 2nd down conversions out of the gate this season, and they will struggle here. They will have to give the ball to Ottawa as their drive stalls near midfield. Darius Bowman making the catch, coming off a monster season last year, and as Dwayne said, got nicked up this week. Took some time off for practice. There was some concern, but Darius looks ready to go here for Chris Jones and the Eskimos tonight.
Yeah, the suggestion is that they won't have to limit his reps offensively, but we'll certainly see as this game goes on.
Bradshaw back to kick, averages about 47 yards a punt. Chris Williams is back. Williams has not scored a touchdown yet with his new team. Motion and movement.
Timeout. Ottawa.
And Ottawa had to burn a timeout in this first half. There was a personnel issue here.
Well, and when you get near midfield as well, that's where you're on high alert as a punt return team for a possible fake. So when you start seeing some funny stuff going on, if you're not sure at all in terms of who's responsible for which eligible receivers, best to call that timeout and play it safe.
You see the rain driving down, and again the forecast all night calls for the drizzle. So Shaw is ready to boot. Williams back in the CFL, former special teams player of the year before he left to go south. Gathers it at his 5 and a little cutback now, and Chris Williams is swarmed a long field for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, trying to bounce back from last week's debacle in Edmonton. Henry Burris, tough one last week with an artillery of new receivers. Wendy's Friday Night Football continues. Wendy's Baconator and Bacon Poutine. Wendy's, now that's better. On a rainy night in Ottawa, 40-year-old Henry Burris, the veteran, 250th game in the Canadian Football League. First possession inside his 10-yard line. Something the Ottawa REDBLACKS did not do last week in Edmonton was run the football. They come out running right away, but for a minimal gain at best.
Yeah, and the numbers for Siobhan Walker tell the story. Very productive through the first 2 games of the season, both Ottawa victories. They got in a hole which limited his opportunities, limited his production last week. The offensive tackles will be under pressure a lot here, given these Edmonton ends tonight, and I think they got to get Ernest Jackson more involved in that quick passing game. Just 1 catch for him last week, only 3 catches over the last 2 games.
Henry Burris spies the defense, changes the play, lets it fly, and unable to make the catch is Maurice Price on the far side. So right now, this is going to be a kick for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. They may even be inclined to give up 2 here. We'll have to see.
As you look at the last play, of course, Henry Burris has to get rid of the ball in a hurry. Because of the pressure, the pocket absolutely collapsed. But that's only 5 on 5. It's 5 rushers, 5 blockers. It shouldn't cave that quickly.
Anthony Aleeks looks like he's ready to boot in the end zone. Sky Dawson at the midfield stripe. And he does take 2. Takes the knee, gives up 2, so the safety touch, the first 2 points on the board go to the Edmonton Eskimos, who will get the ball back. As we look back.
Well, Matt Nichols last week, the numbers weren't necessarily great, but he did what he had to do, particularly those 3 touchdowns. Thought a consistent performance for Matt Nichols, and I think erased a lot of the doubts for those who wondered whether he could lead this team in the absence of Mike Riley.
46-17 win, dismantling the REDBLACKS last week. A lot of built-in excuses for Ottawa coming off a short week, but the REDBLACKS to a man have said They're not playing it that way, but they do know, as you heard Milt Stiegel talk about, how important this game is to this Ottawa franchise. A team that last year in their expansion year only went 2-16.
Yeah, part of the thing for this team is, as much as you don't want to talk about the past and compare this year to last year, they definitely want to send a message that this is a different team than the group that went 2-16 last year. And a big part of that means bouncing back from the loss that they suffered last week.
So they'll give it back. Kendall Lawrence and Sky Dawson back. Here is Dawson from his 30. Trying to find a crease. And is eventually brought down at the 42-yard line. A return of 14 yards. So Edmonton, after that safety touch, comes out with a 2-0 lead, and Nichols back at it. Former star at Eastern Washington. It's been a pipeline to the Canadian Football League with quarterbacks like Bo Levi Mitchell. Darius Bowman in motion with Corey Watson. They hand it off to Shakir Bell. Shakir Bell's first touch in the Canadian Football League. Former finalist for the Walter Payton Award, who's replacing Chad Simpson, played at Indiana State.
Well, we talked a lot last night about guys like Nick Lewis and S.J. Green and what they do when they don't have the football, getting involved in the blocking. Corey Watson is another one of those receivers who loves the physical stuff. Often a guy who you can use from a 5-receiver set to take the responsibilities of the fullback in the run game, as you just saw.
Second down and 4. Nichols, little lob toss, and a nice catch by Kenny Stafford. One-on-one coverage with Javon Johnson. And the difference in height was the difference in that one-on-one confrontation.
A nice job by the running back, Shakir Bell. Everybody knows to be a running back in this passing league, you got to be able to protect. He's not a big guy at about $185, but he stepped up there and did the job. Well-placed ball there from Nichols. Nice job by Stafford to go up and get it.
Twin backs now. The game is Jordan Lynch, and handing it off the pitch to Shakir Bell as Jordan Lynch, former Heisman finalist, Northern Illinois, coming into the game. He'll come in on some sequences, retreats to the sideline now, where Matt Nichols comes out again, huddles up on second down and 2.
Jordan Lynch, primarily a short yardage quarterback, but as we saw with Pat White on this Edmonton team last year, they put together a package for him because he has a different skill set than the starting quarterback. They can run set plays.
They give it to Bell again, and he's not going down. Shakir Bell, what a first down. Well, if early indications of Shakir Bell mean anything, he might have long-time employment in the Canadian Football League. That was a heck of a run.
Yeah, great effort here.
It's almost like trying to grab a wet fish out there for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Nichols goes for the strike. End zone, and Kenny Stafford can't hang on. And that one was certainly catchable, and Stafford knows it.
Well, Kenny Stafford, who's been Matt Nichols' favorite target in the early going. Nice catch a minute ago, and would sure love to have this one back. Nichols lays it up there perfectly. Stafford going to the hole. As you see it there, he actually overran it.
Maybe he didn't even have to dive like that. Second and 10. Nichols goes there again, and this time it's picked off. Sherrell Gavins has his second interception, a touchdown saver. And a souvenir for a REDBLACKS fan, courtesy of Sherrell Gavins. Well, Well, nice pick by Jarrell Gabbins, who then had a nice gesture at the end.
Nice is in the eye of the beholder after this great interception.
So here it comes. Now, this is a very heartwarming moment. Gives it to a nice young fan. And now, if you're going to be a Scrooge, you're going to see the flag for objectionable conduct, but
it's not his ball. With the offenses supplying their own football, an offensive player can give or throw a ball to someone in the stands. Defense can't.
Henry Burris, a fly pattern, looking for Maurice Price, and he would have been gone. There's a penalty flag on the far side, and it looked like the Ottawa Red Black receivers were a step offside here. We'll see. Our referee tonight is Tim Croker. Now again, because Gabbins gave that ball to that fan in the stands, offense supplying the ball. If I was Gabbins, I'd run back up to this, get the ball, and give it back to the referee, and see if
get him one from your sideline for later, right?
Still waiting the call.
Okay. Offside, Ottawa number 9. Penalties declined. Second down.
It was Ernest Jackson. Okay. So they decline that. Second down and 10 from the 15-yard line.
Or 7 come to where they
Burris now, back pedals, far side, looking for Siobhan Walker. Aaron Grimes is right there to push him out, and once again, a quick 2-and-out for the Red Blacks offense, kind of picking up where they left off in Edmonton, where they did not move the football very much.
Good coverage there, and again, a second and long situation. Eskimos largely going to drop a lot of guys in coverage with the front 4 they've got. We'll see times they'll rush 4, they'll even rush 3. In a second and long situation, come forward and make that tackle as they force Burris to throw the check down.
Former Missouri Tiger Kendall Lawrence at the midfield stripe. Anthony Alix into the driving rain. A nice kick. Lawrence back at his 42, and he is going nowhere. Midway through the first quarter, just 2 points. A safety on the board. Offenses could struggle in this weather tonight. Matt Nichols did not last week in Edmonton, as Wendy's Friday Night Football continues from Ottawa. Is brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Doubleheader night, Wendy's Friday Night Football coming up later tonight. The BC Lions, Saskatchewan Roughriders. The downpour here at TD Place Stadium. Matt Nichols back at it to Kendall Lawrence, one-on-one with Gabbins. Lawrence very close to a first down into Ottawa territory, up near the 52-yard line.
Well, Kendall Lawrence's role in this Edmonton Eskimo offense is based on his versatility, a guy who can play running back, but is a pretty good receiver out of the backfield. It's kind of a hybrid slot position. Last week, he got shifted all the way back to running back when Chad Simpson went down in the first half. Ended up turning in a pretty good game for the Eskimos, over 100 combined yards in that ball game.
Again, necessitated because of the injury to John White. Out for the season. Looks like a first down for the Eskimos. Kendall Lawrence.
Kendall Lawrence.
Some highlights last week.
Yeah, got it done on the ground, got it done in the air. 104 yards of offense, 1 touchdown receiving, another touchdown run in that ball game. He's a guy they're going to rely on to contribute to that ground game a fair bit, even from his slot position. Again, this team playing without top 2 rushers from last year, and running back John White and quarterback Mike Riley.
Quick hitter hitch screen, but that pass was off for Lawrence. You look back at last week, Lawrence had a couple of turning point plays. Even though that score was lopsided, the game was pretty close for a while, but really what did the Red Blacks in was the red zone production for the Edmonton Eskimos. They were perfect last week, 5 for 5 within the 20-yard line.
Yeah, provided opportunities and making the most of them. Playing with a short field for a lot of that ball game.
Nichols again fires right at the first down marker, and Matt Nichols got hit as well, and he's up and limping. This is all the Edmonton Eskimos need right now, and he's hurt and he's going to the sideline. And there's a penalty roughing the passer. So James Franklin will come into the game. The backup quarterback who wasn't on their depth chart a few weeks ago. And Nichols looks like he's actually coming back out. I'm not sure if he actually went to the sideline. So Franklin now goes back. Nichols comes back out. And this is a team that's already lost Mike Riley for another couple months.
You saw there his former teammate Tomaso Munoz was coming on the blitz, and he tripped or got cut as he landed again outside that strike zone below the knee.
First and 10 from the 26. Nichols in trouble, dodges one, outlet pass, and Kendall Lawrence makes a great play to lunge for the first down. Now inside the score zone, the red zone as they call it, inside the 20-yard line where they were perfect last week.
Well, three great parts to this play. Great pickup from Shakir Bell. Great little bit of mobility, dodging that rush as well from Nichols to stay alive. A terrific play after the catch by Kendall Lawrence to pick up that first down. Nice effort all the way around.
Sigh of relief from Eskimo fans. Nichols looks like he's all right. They've had a lot of first downs. Now they look for a touchdown, and almost making the catch is Shakir Bell, diving into the end zone. They'll try it again here as Kendall Lawrence will come back into the game.
Well, Bell's going to come out on a free release. Nobody follows him. He's absolutely wide open here. This is one where Matt Nichols just puts a little bit too much air on that ball. Almost trying to take it a little bit too softly with the receiver that wide open. Instead of just throwing it in there.
5-receiver set. Nichols to hang on once again as a Darius Bowman, and the best the Eskimos will do now is a field goal attempt. Matt Nichols, Darius Bowman can't connect, and for Matt Nichols, keep in mind this is a guy who's already had a broken ankle and tore up his knee. He's had so many opportunities to be the guy in Edmonton. Now it's his time. You almost got a feeling as he was limping to the sideline, nothing is going to keep me out of a ball game.
Yeah, they were going to have to rip that leg off, get Matt Nichols to give up the keys to this car right now.
Nichols will hold for Grant Shaw, who is perfect on the season in field goal attempts, now 4 for 4. And the lead is extended to 5-0 for the Eskimos.
We know what we got to do. Let's play hard, smart, together. Hey, it's going to be ups and downs. We fight through it and stay together, man. Hey, we all we got, man. We all we know, man. Fly around, have football, man. I love y'all, boys. Let's go. Oh! We know what we got to do. Enough said, enough talking. Let me get 2 claps on the ring flap.
Well, Odell Willis leading by example. Guy who has been sackless this season, had 13 last year, and there is the big O, wrapping up and ripping down Siobhan Walker. Not too many plays near the line that Odell Willis is not involved in.
Odell Willis joined on that defense by some ball hawks. These are the guys that benefit from what the front four does in terms of pressure. John Ojo, big corner, had a 57-yard pick 6 last week. Pat Watkins, of course, 11 career interceptions. He'll play on the short side of the field. Dexter McCoy with 6 interceptions last year en route to winning Rookie of the Year honors.
Over the top, and Henry Burris looking for an interference call. 1 for 3 out of the chute here tonight as the Red Black offense completely flat as a pancake right now.
And we'll get a close-up look at this one. Ellingson coming across the middle. A real close call, but even Koshi Mwamba looked like he was looking to see if there was going to be a flag on that one.
Leaks back at his 25-yard line. Kendall Lawrence will return this kick. Boomer is the gunner, Antoine Pruneau. 46-yard kick, no return.
You got to love when you get this kind of effort on special teams out of your starters. Antoine Pruneau, deceptively fast, downfield in a hurry to make a big play on punt cover for the Red Blacks.
Antoine Pruneau, 4th overall draft pick last year for the Red Blacks. Eskimos backed up to their 25. Nichols now in traffic. He's looking for former Winnipeg Blue Bomber Corey Watson, his first year with the Edmonton Eskimos. Had a touchdown last week.
Battle there between a couple former RSEQ stars. Their CIS days. Corey Watson from Concordia. Of course, Pruneau from Montreal supplying the coverage.
Not an offensive classic so far, certainly for the Red Blacks. Just 7 first quarter yards. Watson dropping it. So a 2-and-out here. We should not be surprised, by the way, by Ottawa's slow start. This is a team that has notoriously been a slow starter ever since they came back in the league last year.
Yeah, I was going to say a trend that dates all the way back to last season. Now, what is a little uncharacteristic, the draw passes for the Edmonton Eskimos. I count at least 3, 2 of which, one for sure took points off the board, Stafford in the end zone. But the previous drive ended with a Bowman drop, and now this drive ending with a Corey Watson drop.
Might it be slippery footballs in the conditions here tonight? We'll have to see if this trend continues as well. Shaw. Chris Williams, who used to take them back routinely, not this time. 2:05 to go, opening quarter. Coming up tonight, second half of our doubleheader, Andrew Harris and the BC Lions, Tyrone Brackenridge and the Saskatchewan Roughriders off to an 0-3 start.
While the ball is in flight, holding Ottawa, number 33. 10-yard penalty.
Right after this one.
First down.
So you heard the holding call as well. You talked about the numbers dating back to last year, just 4.9 points per first quarter. Right now this season, 0 points per first quarter for the Ottawa Red Blacks. 3 straight games, they have yet to score a point in a first quarter.
Yeah, and those wins in weeks 1 and 2 sort of masked that ongoing concern. But the slow start last week, I thought, really hurt them just because of the hole that they found themselves in as a result.
Play action this time. Burris now goes checking. He's got a man, and he overthrows Maurice Price once more.
That's the second time we've seen them look to get Mo Price going down the pipe. He's the outside man. They're trying to take advantage of his wheels. He's going to work towards the middle of the field. Trying to take advantage of that speed. Great stem to the outside. No inside help. And Henry Burris just needs to find that middle ground, as the first shot to Price was a little bit underthrown. That one overthrown.
Smiling Hank, who had a bit of a scowl this week, said he wants his team to get a little more pumped up and seize the moment at home. But right now, nothing going offensively. Now looking to pass downfield. Tried the little flea flicker here, the razzle-dazzle that will go for naught. And if you're going to throw to somebody who could throw the football again, why not to an ex-quarterback?
Yeah, Brad Sinopoli has thrown 1 or 2 on this field before. He's going to swing out to become the outlet. Henry Burris has other options. And ironically, probably could have gone to the left flat and picked up a first down on that one.
Now 4 2-and-outs. Brad Sinopoli, former quarterback here at the University of Ottawa with the GGs, won the Heck Brighton Trophy. Now receiver in the Canadian Football League, and a great one at that. Lawrence again, high kick. Downfield quickly, but now Lawrence. Good field position again for the Eskimos. 45 seconds remain in this first quarter. Again, a shutout first quarter for the Ottawa Red Blacks as Matt Nichols gets back in his office. It's knocked out of bounds by Brandon Thompson. Looks like it's just before the first down marker.
That bubble screen with a swing out of the slot from Kendall Lawrence. Pretty standard type play for him. Elements of the Toronto Argonauts offense, of course, coming to Edmonton with Steve McAdoo last year. Toronto, we've seen guys like Andre Dury and Chad Owens making those catches close to or even behind the line of scrimmage, trying to get them the ball in space and then make people miss. That's Kendall Lawrence's role within this offense.
Well, the ball spotted just inside the 50. They are going to bring out the sticks and measure. Only the officials now can request a measurement. This one was very close on second down. Confirmation, first down. Edmonton has 7 first downs in this first quarter. The Red Blacks zip. That has to be a concern for Rick Campbell moving forward, is how this team comes out of the starting gate. They have been limping out of the gate all season long. Nichols looks to the air again. Now in trouble. Pocket closes. Down he goes. And it's Zach Evans, who was the highlight reel star last week, even though his team lost, with an interception return for the ages. Big Zach brings down Matt Nichols. First sack of the ball game. Here on Wendy's Friday Night Football. 5-0 Eskimos in Ottawa. Edmonton, the Ottawa Redblacks, lost in a big way, but this play has made highlight reels around the nation. Zach Evans trundling 66 yards for a touchdown. With more on that, let's go to the sideline. Here's Matthew Shinetti.
Rod, last week Zach Evans' big pick six earned him a game ball, which he immediately gave to his young son Xander. He wants that ball to be a symbol that he did more than his father Terry, who went to the Saskatchewan Rough Riders training camp back in the 70s. He also wants the ball to be a symbol for Xander that he can achieve more than his own father did. And Xander is here tonight with the whole Evans family. Rod?
Yeah, Xander's pretty excited.
Well, he's not really achieving much right now.
Hey, that's what happens when you got one football. Swinging it out to Kenny Stafford. That was a terrific play by Zach Evans, and it took a long time. He's been talking about how far he had to run. It's not so much how far, it's how fast. And there was a great photo here in the Ottawa Sun, Father's Day, with
the Evans
Zach
boys
and Xander, and that's what it's about, being a pop. And maybe we'll see Xander Evans someday in the Canadian Football League.
Well, I'll tell you what, his dad's doing a pretty good job right now, and we gave him a bit of a hard time about the touchdown last week. But Jonathan Williams went down in that ball game, which meant Zach Evans played a lot more at D tackle. I thought he was one of the bright spots for these Ottawa Redblacks, and a guy who I honestly think is kind of poised for a breakthrough year.
Well, Grant Shaw, very interesting formation there as they lined up with Jordan Lynch for a bit, and then they brought Shaw back. We've seen them do that in practice at times. So a great kick there from Shaw. There's Zach Evans, and well, he's got a football and he's got a highlight that he'll never forget.
I was just in the right place at the right time. And I didn't expect him to throw it. I was just going to tackle him. But as soon as he threw it, I took it and ran as fast as I could. I didn't know I could run that far. I haven't ran that far in a very long time, honestly, at a sprint. But yeah, I was definitely tired after that one. For like 2 days after, I was tired. I had to get in the cold tub real fast.
Well, Zach Evans, that was a terrific play. And last time he had a touchdown playing fullback in Regina as a teenager. Guy who played his junior football in Regina and has made a big impact here since he came over from the Rough Riders to the Red Blacks in last year's expansion draft. Xander?
Yeah, Xander's just waiting for this offense to pick up a little bit.
Well, he's waiting to see if his dad can get another one.
Well, he knows. First quarter, the Red Blacks don't get going until the second.
Well, they need to get going in a hurry. Burris now scampers out, and he'll get out at the first down marker. So Henry Burris trying to ignite his offense. That's their first down. It comes early in the second quarter.
Right, Henry Burris on the scramble here. One of the things I like, watch how he brings the ball up and in as he starts to run here. High and tight is one of the things that their coach, Rick Campbell, has preached to them in terms of ball security today, particularly given the weather, and Burris very aware of the risk of a strip from behind. Nice job keeping that one close to the body.
And out of the shadows of his goal post. So, 1st and 10 from the 19. Burris with time, goes deep again. This is up for grabs, and that could have been picked off. John Ojo, who had a pick 6 last week, kind of turned the game around early on for the Edmonton Eskimos, who led 14-0 after one quarter thanks to Ojo's pick 6. This was not a well-thrown pass. I'm not sure if the route was broken.
Well, I think there is definitely a commitment in terms of the game plan in this ball game. You look at 3 deep shots intended for Mo Price in the early going here. Price is a burner. He's a big play guy, but they haven't had a chance to exploit that part of his game yet. I think they're trying to stretch the field a little bit here, and maybe try to open up some underneath stuff as a result.
Rain subsiding. Burris flings it out to Price. Ojo and Grimes tag team him on the far side after a pickup of 6 yards. There is a penalty flag, though. It's down near the 30-yard line on the near side of the field. And it's going against the Red Blacks.
Legal interference blocking downfield. Ottawa number 81. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
And Patrick Lavoie, who's back in the lineup at fullback today. Here he's lined up in the slot. He's going to come in and collides with the defender. A pick kind of look, so he's charged with blocking before that ball was thrown as a result.
Anthony Alix has had some good kicks here tonight. Kendall Lawrence again looked like it could be no yards. It will be. That's a 15-yard penalty because he collected that in the air. 37-yard kick only. Still 5-0.
If you have the football, whether you're an offense, defense, or special teams guy, it's high and tight. Okay, emphasis on that, on high and tight with the ball. Defense, let's get the ball out. We can get the ball on the ground and make big plays. This is what we need from you tonight. Okay, we need you doing your job to the best of your ability, with passion, with an edge, and the score will take care of itself. Okay, we got the whole city behind us. Let's go get this thing done. Let's go.
Well, the Ottawa Red Blacks fired up in that locker room before the game, but still no points. The crowd rises here to salute one of the members of the Canadian Armed Forces. They do that every game here in the nation's capital, honoring one of Canada's true heroes. Now Matt Nichols, after that punt and the no yards call, Shakir Bell spied nicely by Damaso Munoz, the former Edmonton Eskimo. Tackle for a loss here.
Damaso Munoz, a guy who, as a free agent last year, followed his former Edmonton defensive coordinator Mark Nelson here to the Red Blacks. Winning a starting job this year. Nice job there on the tackle. Not to lunge or get caught out of position by the shifty Bell.
2nd and 10, and Darius Bowman made the catch. What a catch by Darius Bowman. Highlight reel stuff as he brings it inside the 15-yard line and absolutely silences this place. Look at this grab.
A tremendous grab, terrific adjustment to the football by Darius Bowman. Also perfectly placed by quarterback Matt Nichols. Yeah, that might earn him forgiveness for the drop earlier, huh?
Abdul Kaneh is there. If I was the D-back on a play like that, I'd just applaud him. It's good enough. Not much more you can do. Back into the red zone they go. Tight formation here. Nichols wants to throw. He goes end zone, and it's picked off by Javon Johnson. And again, Matt Nichols twice now in the red zone. 5 for 5 last week with touchdowns. Tonight in the red zone, 2 for 2 interceptions. First it was Gabbins, this time Johnson. Nate Kuhorn goes down. Red Blacks come up with the football. Javon Johnson, Nate Kuhorn one-on-one in the end zone, and Johnson wins the battle.
Yeah, and watch Javon Johnson, because he's got his eyes peering into the backfield. He's watching the quarterback, Matt Nichols. He's got pretty good position in terms of the body. He's on the outside, but as soon as Nichols squares to throw, he knows where that ball's going. He sees where the shoulders and the eyes are. He reacts and runs underneath to make a play.
Burris, strong arm this time. Chris Williams, former Tiger Cats, connect. And the Red Blacks now gathering some steam. They get some spark again from the former most outstanding defensive player back in 2011 with the Blue Bombers, Javon Johnson. They need some points, though, and they need to get the ball moving. Their offense has stalled for the most part. Here comes the house. There goes the football. And unable to hang on, Mo Price locked in a confrontation with Patrick Watkins, who says no way.
And you see Pat Watkins a little bit off, so Mo Price is going to try and break it underneath. But a quick break to the football by the veteran Watkins coming downhill to contest that catch.
Watkins, a 3-time CFL All-Star. 3-man rush this time. Near the first down marker, and we'll see where the spot is. It might just be before that first down mark. Chris Williams again.
Now you remember what we talked about after those 3 deep shots to Mo Price.
It is a first down. They'll move the chains.
Trying to get things opened up underneath, and that's what you're now seeing on this series. A whole bunch of quick hitters. Get the defense backed off a little bit, fearing that deep ball. Now create some space for Williams, Price, the rest of that receiving core to work the quick game.
Quick hitters, no huddles. Back at it. Now, Burris scoots out. Hit by Odell Willis. Mondo Sewell wrapped him up initially, so it's going to be second down and another throwing down here for the Ottawa Red Blacks. Former Eskimo quarterback Jason Moss, offensive coordinator now with the Ottawa Red Blacks.
And Jason Moss has generally been more committed to that ground game. Again, they got in an early hole last week that forced them into throwing situations.
Quick hitter. And pounding away was Greg Ellingson. But he's going to be short, well short of the first down. And again, another drive will end here for the Ottawa Red Blacks with no points. Ellingson, also another former Hamilton Tiger Cat. Red Blacks went out and got a treasure chest of receivers in the offseason. And Chris Williams, Ellingson, Mo Price, Ernest Jackson, Brad Sinopoli. Nice weapons for Henry Burris, but they can't find the house yet here tonight. Kendall Lawrence again. Sky Dawson hasn't been back to return kicks since early in the ball game. The score is still 5-0 on Wendy's Friday Night Football. Nichols, 9 of 17, 120 yards, but 2 picks in this ball game. Let's go to the sideline once again and join Matt.
Absolutely, Rod. 2 picks, but the one thing that Nichols likes is when he comes back to the sidelines, he can immediately talk to Jarius Jackson. He likes that relationship with Jackson, he told us yesterday, because Jackson, who is a former quarterback, has won 3 Grey Cups. He understands what it's like when the real bullets are flying. And I spoke to Jackson before the game, and he said, I tell Nichols the same thing I tell Mike Riley. Relax. Let the game do the work for you. You don't have to force the ball. Get it to Kendall Lawrence. Get it to Adarius Bowman. Relax, calm down, be prudent, and let the game control the game, and then let it all do the work for you, guys.
All right, thank you, Jerry. As Jackson can really empathize with what Matt Nichols goes through. Remember, as a backup in BC, he was forced into the duty like Matt Nichols has, and now as a coach, of course, with the Eskimos. Quality quarterback in his time in college at Notre Dame. There's a penalty flag on this play as Bowman made another catch. Make that Kenny Stafford made the catch.
As anticipated, again, Kenny Stafford playing a much bigger role in the offense this week with Adarius Bowman slowed by injury.
Ottawa number 22. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Interference is the call. First down for the Eskimos at the 35. Here's a look.
Yeah, it's the right call. You can even see the arm on the back of the jersey, hand on the back of the jersey, just below that number 7. Give it a little tug.
Nichols, high snap, hands off the rock to Bell. Shakir Bell with his best run in his first game. 16-yard pickup for Shakir Bell.
I love the patience from Shakir Bell on this play. It looked like things were clogged up a little bit. He just waited a second for a hole to develop. The guard Andrew Jones worked his way up to second level.
Pretty good CFL debut, 6 for 41. He stays in again to block, but then collided with Nichols, who got it off to Kuhorn and is brought down by Gavins. So a botch play in the backfield actually works out all right for the Eskimos.
Well, making lemonade out of lemons on that one. Problems in the backfield, first of all, but Nichols still able, as he's on his way down, to deliver an accurate pass. See, Bell clips his left leg there. And Kuhorn hit right away, but he manages to keep his balance and turn that one upfield.
Nichols on 2nd and 5. And a slant pattern caught by Kuhorn. First down, right in front of the guy who took one away from him earlier, Javon Johnson. And Kuhorn is slow to get up. Looks like he's hurt.
This Edmonton team already with the Canadian receiver and Shamad Chambers on the injured list.
And maybe rolled his ankle. And right there, that left ankle stepped on Javon Johnson's cleat. Kuhorn has been Mr. Dependable for the Edmonton Eskimos since he was drafted back in 2011. Took him a while to find the end zone, but when he did, he started scoring a lot more and became a big part of this offense. 5 for 66 before this game, and still yet to record his first touchdown score of 2015. Former Calgary Dino.
He was among the top Canadian receivers in the league last year in terms of receptions, with 52. Become a pretty productive player, a guy who was the 3rd receiver picked in that 2011 draft behind his teammate at the U of C, Anthony Parker, and Jade Etienne, who went to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 4th overall. Kuhorn went 5th.
Calgary team that was loaded at the time. That team coached at that time by Blake Nail, that recorded a number of Can West titles and a couple of trips to the Vanier Cup. 1st and 10. And off again. And look out. Once again, another huge run for Shakir Bell. I think he's starting to love this Canadian Football League.
Shakir Bell has that great acceleration. You see, as soon as he sees that hole, his ability to explode through there quickly, run away from would-be tacklers.
Edmonton team finds running backs. Credit Anna Hervey, their general manager. chatted with him before the game, as this time Kendall Lawrence gets the football, about how they think about the last few years, how many running backs have gone down, and he's been able to plug and play with other players. Bell was on his practice roster this year, and he said Bell kind of reminded him of John White, maybe not as explosive, but to be able to put in a Kendall Lawrence or a Shakir Bell or Chad Simpson, considering that White was down, says a lot about the Edmonton Eskimos scouting department. 2nd and 9. Lynch now, and he's going down. And again, they're going to call on Grant Shaw to put it through the uprights. Another drive stalls in the red zone.
This is in part Ottawa defense recognizing the trend when Jordan Lynch is in the ball game. It's typically going to be some sort of run play, something that's going to take advantage of his mobility, whether it's an option, whether it's some kind of quarterback run, in that case a quarterback draw, and they're perfectly prepared.
First field goal attempt was from 23, this from 22, and right down Main Street again for Grant Shaw, who is perfect this season in field goals. It is now 8-0. Well, just when you thought it was safe to go back outside, the cult hit returns.
Sharknado 3. Oh, hell no!
You okay?
That's what it says.
You've been practicing.
That's how you say it.
How do you say it again?
Oh, hell no!
There you go. Prepare yourself for Sharknado 3.
Oh, hell no!
Premiering Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on Space. I think that's what's been happening to the Ottawa and Edmonton offenses tonight. That's been said by a couple of their coaches. And Brad Sinopoli, who's had a good start as an Ottawa Red Black. In his last game here, he had his first touchdown back home. Sinopoli, one of the leading receivers for the Red Blacks. That's one of their biggest plays so far. Another first down. Hell yes.
Well, nickel and dime now is this Ottawa offense. We'll see now if this starts to open up another deep shot as Jason Moss, the OC, mixes things up a little bit.
Siobhan Walker's in the backfield. They give him the rock, and that for Walker, who again carried the bulk of the offense on the ground in the first couple of games, racked up some pretty good yardage, but he only averages about 3 yards a carry.
And that average took a huge hit last week, just 6 carries in that ball game. He'd averaged about 20 carries through the first 2 weeks of the season.
2nd and 4. Walker, of course, was with Burris in Hamilton as well a few years ago. Sends out 4 receivers to his left, looks there, and picked off right into the midst of John Ojo, who last week took one back for a touchdown against Henry Burris, and now has his 2nd pick in the Canadian Football League and his 2nd against Henry Burris. It's the 3-minute warning before halftime. Another turnover here tonight.
Boys getting set for the half. What are you doing? Multitasking is Milt Steele. We're talking about Shakir Bell taking advantage of his chances, even though the Eskimo offense in general has not, and the struggles of the Ottawa Red Blacks on offense as well. Coming up at the half, a few minutes' time. Back to Rod and Dwayne.
Thank you so much, Rod. 2:32 to go before halftime. Another pick here tonight. Matt Nichols over the top to the aforementioned Shakir Bell, who the boys will be talking about. There's John Ojo, who was on the practice roster for the Eskimos all last season, didn't play. He's making good on his playing time this season.
Yeah, and his development is going to be very interesting to watch. There he is. He's just sitting in the flat. He knows he's got his halfback, Aaron Grimes, covering deep behind him. He doesn't have to back off. You see, he doesn't even take a step back. He's just spying into the backfield, watching Henry Burris. Burris looks that way. He's breaking downhill towards the ball.
Raindrops falling now like offensive numbers tonight. Nichols is buried. And guess who? Zach Evans. Wake up, Xander. Daddy did it again.
Well, Zach Evans continues his stellar play on the interior of this Ottawa defensive line. We've talked about the need for this team to get someone else going on the pass rush. He's coming from the left side of your screen. He just beats the tackle. Anthony Batiste beats him to the inside. Just a quick rip.
Chris Williams back. Returns tonight of 2-6 and no yards. This time, though, might have something or maybe not. Down he goes. Not a lot of opportunities tonight for either side. This is a penalty, though, against the Eskimos. Flag up near the midfield stripe on a 41-yard boot. Matthew Boulay was downfield very quickly to get to Williams.
Legally downfield on a kick. Edmonton number 25. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
So no return for Williams, but they get the benefit of an extra 10 yards because of participation downfield.
Again, under the new rules, interior 5 guys at the line of scrimmage. Center 2 guards, 2 tackles. Those guys cannot leave the line of scrimmage until the ball is kicked.
Now the REDBLACKS have not been able to get into Edmonton territory too much tonight. Not many first downs, no points. Trying to score before halftime. Here's the big rush. Burris jumps and hands it off. Nice toss over to Siobhan Walker, who motors now. And Siobhan Walker. Well, the blitz was coming, and Henry Burris read it perfectly.
And you're going to see mixing up the looks here. Odell Willis is bailing. He's off to the right side in coverage, but he's still coming from the left. As you said, perfect timing in terms of that play call. You want to bait them in on that side, let the rush come. Release the blockers downfield behind them.
Burris again. Walker, though, is cut down by Otha Foster as that pass was near his shoe top. Siobhan Walker is a dual threat player. That's what he can do. Not only run the ball, but also take it out of the backfield. The Ottawa REDBLACKS have not been over the midfield stripe in this first half. They're hovering right now, key second down. The furthest they've been is their own 53 twice. Burris now. Walker's there, looking at him. Now Henry Burris is dancing. He throws near side, and Chris Williams makes a great play into the 50-yard line, and finally the Ottawa REDBLACKS move the chains into Eskimo territory.
This play is just all about staying alive.
The slippery Chris Williams on a gain of 10. Play action again. Far side, man open. This time it is Sinopoli. And another big gainer, 21-yarder, Brad Sinopoli. But time ticking down here, and another Ottawa first down. 38 to go before the half.
They're going to get a couple guys pushing deep to clear things out. Sinopoli stays short and ends up absolutely wide open.
Well, now the REDBLACKS are having some success moving the football. Can they march it to the end zone? 3-man rush. Burris with time. Far sideline again. Stops the clock at 33 for Williams. Now we're getting to see this wealth of Ottawa receivers. Four catches for Chris Williams, 44 yards. Jason Moss. Is Ernest Jackson. Half the first down yardage, down to the 11. 30 seconds to go.
Ernest Jackson, just 3 catches in his last 2 ball games after having 7 in week 1. But this is the area where you expect Henry Burris to look for number 9.
Burris now tosses it off to Walker, and he's chopped down there by Odell Willis. They have got to the 10, but they have to get to the 8-yard line for the first down. And the Red Blacks are going to take the points.
That's the right decision at this stage of the ball game.
So the drive will stall. Field goal attempt upcoming from Delbert Alvarado. 6 for 8 on the season, the newcomer. This is just a chip shot as this wet first half draws to a close. That was the most impressive drive, really the Red Blacks' only drive of this first half. And they finally put some points on the board. I don't think we're going to see the kind of the high scoring we saw from either side in this one tonight. It's a good night to be a Duck or an umbrella salesman. Rain keeps coming down. 8-3 is the score. Edmonton, as we send it back to the studio on Wendy's Friday Night Football.
Thank you, Rod. Wow, if you're a fan of the Ottawa Redblacks, you're going to be thankful you're only down by 5 points in a game that could have been a complete blowout by now. Just like last week at Commonwealth Stadium. But Ottawa is right in it, back with a panel of Milt Stegall and Paul Lampolice and Chris Schultz. How many times did the Edmonton Eskimos have a chance to open this game up, score a touchdown? Now, there was a drop, there was a missed throw. There's also, though, Milt, in addition to the missed opportunities by the Eskimos offense, some good plays by that Ottawa defense.
Yeah, they have some missed opportunities, the drop by Stafford, the overthrow to Bell. But let's give some credit to this Ottawa defense. They're the only reason why Ottawa is still in this game. They're making some big plays. They're intercepting the ball. They're getting after the quarterback. They're not allowing Ottawa or Edmonton to run away with this game, because this game could be over just like last week's game. But they're making some plays. You look at Gavin's right there, the young DB. Then you have Javon Johnson, the veteran of 10 years, make a great play. You also got to give a shout-out to the big man from last week who had the great touchdown, Zach Evans. He has 2 interceptions right now. It was nice to see that Ottawa offense finally get something going, that final drive. But if they can pick their game up, they have a chance to win this game, Schultz.
And reality is Henry's got to pick his game up. And if I'm a cheerleader for the Ottawa Redblacks, my cheer is, let's go, Henry. Let's go, Henry. Let's go, Henry. Come on, Henry, because right now Henry's throws are not on. That's an underthrow. The receiver actually had some depth. If he overthrew it, it could have been a play. This one, that is wide open in the world of pro football. This one right here, I'm not 100% sure who he's throwing it to, maybe an area, but the adjustment was not made. Actually, Milt, I give this one, that receiver should have hooked that play up on that play. So we're going to cheer for the receiver to do better. But offensively, they don't have it. Defensively, they're keeping their team in there, but let's go, Henry.
You need some pom-poms? I got some
pom-poms.
Keep working on that, chant.
I do not want to see Schultz as a cheer.
No, I cheer with my face.
That conjures a very interesting vision. Anyway, we won't go there any further. Hey, I mentioned, Coach, the Eskimos are not taking advantage offensively, but if I could throw in one exception, a guy that's getting his chance tonight, and he is taking advantage of it, is that running back, Shakir Bell, has been impressive.
Yeah, the impressive thing with him is when you see a young football player, sometimes the PR guys, when they get their opportunity, they play faster than anybody else on the field. They break more tackles than anybody else on the field. Why do they do that? Because they don't know when they're going to get back on the roster. He's done a tremendous job in blocking. He has 2 big blocks at the point of attack to help the ball get downfield. I love that off the kid coming across the formation here to make this block. And watch this run. 2nd and 2, he's got nothing. There's nothing there. He keeps his feet moving. He's got a low center of gravity, great balance. That's a great run for 40-yard gain. And then here, a little shake, a little bang inside. He's got good spatial awareness. He's got the ability, and he's also got a 26-yard run right after this drive. So this is a good young back. They roll through, and he says, hey, Chad Simpson, John White, all these guys, I got to get my opportunity, and he's making the most of it.
Okay, I listened to what you said. I paid attention, but I can't shake this image of Schultz as a cheerleader. What was that chant again?
Let's go.
Oh, there you go.
Let's go, Schultz.
Redblacks, amazingly, down by just 5. It's Wendy's Friday Night Football on TSN. Is brought to you by Wendy's Baconator and Wendy's Bacon Poutine. Wendy's. Now that's better. Hey, you know what would make things better right now with all that pressure in Regina, in Saskatchewan? A win. The Riders still looking for that first W. They get the rematch against the BC Lions coming up after that heartbreaking overtime loss. Not heartbreaking for Travis Lulay, though, or Andrew Harris. So part 2 of that series coming up after this one in our Wendy's Friday Night Football doubleheader. We're at the half, though, and it is Edmonton leading. No surprise there, given how they played, but only by 5 points over the Ottawa REDBLACKS. It's the GMC Coach's Playbook with Paul Lapalese. Well, we talked a lot before about the Edmonton offense. How about the Edmonton defense? I mean, Ottawa couldn't get anything going, especially in the first quarter.
Yeah, for the better part of two quarters, that Edmonton defense was playing lockdown defense, and they do it a number of different ways. It's funny when you watch them on film. They come at you different angles. Here you're going to see some type of rotation. Free safety is going to rotate down the hook to the curl. The will linebacker, McCoy, is going to go up and play free safety. Why do they do that? So they can bring pressure off the front. No, here comes the Sam linebacker, but also the field halfback. You don't see that often. Ottawa slid their line to the left for their protection. That's going to leave them one guy short. You're going to see the tailback take the Sam. Halfback's free. Guy in Henry's face, so it forces a throw. Look at this. 2nd and 10. 3-man rush. Okay, where's the linebackers? Oh, everybody's back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys standing next to each other. What's that coverage? A couple of guys are going to bail out late, so they're trying to confuse the quarterback. Then they're going to drop into their spots, forcing the quarterback to check it down. Their speed rallies up and makes the play. Here's another point. 4 guys, and everybody else playing off in depth, and that's what Edmonton does. They get you in 2nd and long, keep everybody deep, and then force you to try to rally up, throw it down to the checkdowns, and they rally up and make the play. Here they had a double move play here. Sinapoli trying to throw it deep, weren't able to execute, get it off. But Edmonton does a great job of what I call, finding your protections and overloading your protections to make sure they only rush 5 people, but they still get to the quarterback.
And yet we still got a game here. Ottawa gets going a little bit in the second quarter.
Ottawa should have taken the game over early in the first quarter.
Boy, the Eskimos will really lament that if they don't go on to win this football game. It is close now, and Ottawa had minus 4 yards offense in the first quarter and no first downs, but as said, Henry Burris and company, little late drive, something to build on in the dressing room, trying to adjust and get ready for the second half. This season, Tim Hortons is making sure you catch all of the biggest moments of this CFL season, those unbelievable catches, those hard-hitting tackles. You can watch them live as they happen, or you can view them again and share them with friends. Go to tsn.ca/CFL must-see. 8 free Eskimos over Ottawa at the half. Here's Schultze now with the halftime stats.
Well, at the end of the first quarter, no first downs for the REDBLACKS, and they were minus 4 in total yards. Look at them now. The total yards are 147, and they got 8 first down. Henry was 7 for 7 in the second quarter. All that momentum, you can capitalize on it, Ottawa. Go, Henry, go.
Well, the Eskimos could have had more on the board for sure. Here is quarterback Matt Nichols now with Matthew Shinetti.
Matt, on a wet night like this, how good is it to see Shakir Bell playing the way he is?
Yeah, he's playing great for us. He's a guy that cares a lot about the game, and he's worked hard to make sure he knows his stuff going into this week.
In terms of in the second half, what do you have to do to execute in the red zone?
Yeah, we just have to, like you said, just execute the things we know how to do. We had a couple drop touchdowns, one receiver falling down on one, a shot play where we were trying to just take a chance in the end zone, and the guy made a great play, but it's just capping off those drives, and I got to be smart with the football, and we got to make sure we punch it in and get more points.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
A couple of big plays in particular keeping this rainy night in Ottawa close for the home team. Darrell Gavins with 1 pick, giving that ball away, and Javon Johnson with the other one. Hence, 8-3 only for the Eskimos. Second half kickoff coming up.
Let's go, Red It's Friday Night Football. Boys are all here, gonna put on the show. Come on.
Welcome back to TD Place Stadium in Ottawa. Last year in this game in Ottawa with the Eskimos REDBLACKS, it was 8-4 at the half for the REDBLACKS. This time they're down 8-3. Their quarterback, Henry Burris, with Matthew Shinetti.
Henry, how good was it to put a drive together?
Oh, it was good. I mean, we got a lot of plays there. I mean, we're not far off from busting this thing open. I mean, It's been one guy here or there. It's been a couple inches off on some passes. We've had opportunities. We see the things they're doing. They're bringing more pressure. And we did a much better job as the half went on as far as adjusting to it, getting the ball out of my hands. We just got to stick in there. I mean, we're not far off from busting this thing open, but we got to stay out there on the field and give our defense some rest. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Loads of D in this game, a game devoid of a touchdown. Last year in that game I talked about, that game ended 10-8 when Grant Shaw won it with 20 seconds left. Also, no touchdowns. Difference this time around, that was a clear night. That was a nice night. Here the problem tonight is there's rain, and it's been raining nonstop, and it's going to rain until the final gun.
Yeah, and obviously that creates some issues in terms of ball security. I'm still not convinced, given the early stage of the ball game with some of those drops, that a slick ball necessarily played that much of a factor.
Go, 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 go!
So Henry Burris will bring his offense on the field. Scrimmage first here. Here's what they did in the first half. -4 yards in the first quarter. They turned it around in the second. You heard him talk about the adjustments.
Yeah, and you see Siobhan Walker involved 8 touches in the first half of this ball game. Chris Williams leads the way in terms of the passing attack. He's got 4 catches so far, but a pretty balanced attack overall. Burris completing 65%, and again, 1 interception.
Siobhan Walker in the backfield with Burris. They go over the top, and making the grab on the near sideline is Chris Williams, his 5th catch of the night. They come out firing right out of the locker room.
Yeah, I love the throw behind here. The speedster Chris Williams is going to push the defender Patrick Watkins deep, but meanwhile he knows Henry Burris is going to throw it to that back shoulder, so he sells it deep and then just breaks it off.
29-yard gain. Siobhan Walker. Armando Sewell tackles him for a loss, so it'll be a throwing down again for the Red Blacks. This was the locker room at halftime. Jason Moss says, hey guys, let's get over here and let's think this over. Plan out our second half. Quarterbacks Danny O'Brien, Thomas DeMarco, Henry Burris. Second down, 12 yards to go. Here comes the blitz, and there goes a penalty flag. Somebody got jumpy at the line.
Offside. Edmonton number 90. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That was Sewell.
It looked like Henry Burris, just by the way that played out, may have been messing around with the snap count a little bit there, going with the long count, knowing that the Eskimos would be trying to time up that blitz.
And driving rain here in Ottawa tonight. Burris barks it out. Puts Jackson in motion. He comes back to the near side. Again, here come the Eskimos. Burris now dodges one. Henry Burris scampering now for a first down. 40-year-old legs keep moving. Henry Burris has shown that ability to still take it this season through 4 games.
Yeah, may not do it quite as often as he used to in the days of Calgary running the zone read, where was he and Joffrey Reynolds for years in that backfield. But Henry Burris definitely still very capable on the run when the opportunity presents itself.
Great shake on Dexter McQuill. He must have been listening to the guys in the studio at halftime. First and 10 at the 32. Siobhan Walker now trying to burst outside. Now, you look at the stats early in the season, and you can almost throw away so many of the numbers because they're so skewed with buys and everything, and the Eskimo defensive numbers are down. Look at last year's numbers, though, and this defense really hasn't changed a whole lot. This was one of the best defenses, run defense, pass defenses in the league last year.
Yeah, and such an aggressive group, and this is always one of the signatures of a Chris Jones defense, is that overall team speed.
Armando Sewell is down near the Eskimo sideline. Donna Ramasyan comes into the game to replace him. There's big Armando Sewell, the nose tackles for the Eskimos. what is really a miserable night here in Ottawa. It didn't rain all day. Started raining about an hour before game time, and it has not subsided a bit. 8-3 is the score right now. It is still raining. We'll step aside and come back. The Prime Minister in the house tonight. Tally brought to you by Pure Lighter, tackling hunger, a promise we all can help deliver. We call it the sack attack, but really tonight it's the Zach attack.
Yeah, 2 sacks in the ball game, both by Ottawa defensive tackle Zach Evans.
Well, he's in the running for Defensive Player of the Year already. A couple of games. Zach Evans, interception return last week, couple of sacks. Good on the young guy. Far side now. In the rain, Ellingson is bowled over by Sean Ocho. Ocho, one of the picks in the first half, a few turnovers as well. You look back at turning points in this game. Should Ottawa be able to come back and win this game? You got to look at those 2 interceptions when Edmonton was deep in Ottawa's territory in the first half. They may come back to haunt Chris Jones and the Eskimos.
Well, between the 2 interceptions, a couple of drops that were certainly in scoring position as well. One that actually preceded the first interception.
Once again, Delbert Alvarado, who's got something about timing. Last 3 weeks has hit final play field goals to end the first half. Looking for the first points of the second half, and he puts it through. Honduras-born kicker, 8-6 Edmonton now. Hang around in the rain, you never know. This is what happened in the first half.
Yeah, just moments after Kenny Stafford had dropped a ball in the end zone. You had Nichols looking for Corey Watson. That one was picked by Jarrell Gavins. Then the second quarter, looking for Nate Kuhorn, a great defensive play by Javon Johnson. 2 picks in the end zone, taking points off the board for these Edmonton Eskimos.
Matt Nichols from the 35. Keep it on the ground. There goes Bell. Shakir Bell, first down and more. We might see more running in this second half because the rain is coming down even harder now.
Shakir Bell making an outstanding impression.
19-yard gain. Is he ever a small guy? But look at the way he can dart.
Well, again, I think that the John White comparison is a very apt one. Not the biggest guy, but he'll stick his nose in there, do what he has to do blocking, and just that lightning speed in the run game.
Why not? Why not? Shakir Bell down the sideline. And there's a penalty flag in the backfield. It's coming back.
Edmonton number 64. It's a 10-yard penalty.
One of those big holes opened up because there was a holding call, and that run taken away from Shakir Bell.
This one's going to go against the right guard, Andrew Jones. He's on the backside of this play. And there you see absolutely the right call as he pulls his man down, attempting to pursue.
Edmonton team that was looking for a reboot last week, a mulligan, they said, after a dismal performance in their opening week against Toronto and Fort McMurray. They bounced back last week with that impressive win. Cleaned up the penalties, but that was a big penalty there, and another drop here in the rain. Corey Watson can't hang on to that wet football.
And if you look just from a fundamental point of view at the position of Watson's hands as he goes to catch that ball, basically turned with both hands underneath, not the strongest position to catch the football based on where it was thrown. If he gets the hands rotated, thumbs together, he's going to be in a better position to secure that one.
You know, they talk about footwear. You can also talk about glove wear. Watson, no gloves. Some receivers with gloves. And now Nichols has to throw it away as he was being pursued once again. And he's growing frustrated tonight. And Matt Nichols, as the Ottawa REDBLACKS almost chase him down again.
Well, And it's a play where they were trying to set up a screen to Kendall Lawrence. The problem occurred because basically you want pressure to come and you want to put it over those rushing defensive linemen and linebackers. And Juan Pruneau got upfield so fast that he was pressuring Nichols, but the rest of the D-line was still at about the same depth as the desired receiver, Lawrence.
Again, Chris Williams has been pretty much silenced tonight. And he fumbles the football, and it looks like Edmonton has it. Slippery ball comes out of the hands of Chris Williams, and the Edmonton Eskimos will get the football back at the 25-yard line when we come back.
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos have missed some glorious opportunities thus far in this ball game, but they've been gifted another one here by their special teams unit, particularly long snapper Ryan King getting down there in coverage. He gets the right hand on that ball to pop it loose from the return man, Chris Williams.
Just outside the 25, there goes Bell again, chased down by Abdul Kanay, fumble football, and the REDBLACKS could not get to it to knock it out of bounds. Big break for the Eskimos.
Kanay up very quickly in run support here. It's a nice job to wrap up the slippery Bell. There you can see the ball clearly bounced on the sidelines before the Ottawa defender got to it.
They actually give him a yard, so 2nd and 9. Nichols, quick one to Watson, hangs on this time, and he's going nowhere. Like a punching bag there for a moment. He had to take a lot of shots and wouldn't go down. And so again, Matt Nichols looks to the bench, but Chris Jones is going to take the points here. Grant Shaw just waiting for the signal, but no doubt they're going to go for the field goal. The way it's looking tonight, we may not see a touchdown. This kind of weather, the way the defenses have played.
Yeah, as this rain has really picked up as the game has progressed. You're seeing the difficult ball handling become more and more of a factor as time goes on here.
And we've seen the ball slip out. First Corey Watson, we saw fumbles. May see more of it now in this rainstorm here as Shaw hits again to make it 11-6. Premium is on, hanging on to the football. That means the running game is going to be so important in this second half. That might mean this guy. Maybe a lot more of this guy. Siobhan Walker, the REDBLACKS, down 5 on Wendy's Friday Night Football. Canada's men's rugby team faces Tonga in the Pacific Nations Cup, live from Burnaby, BC. Circle the calendar, July 24th, action underway at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on TSN2. I wonder how the rugby guys would make out in weather like this tonight. No helmets. It is coming down hard now in Ottawa. 11-6 game. This game is reminding me a little bit of the game last season with the BC Lions here. Game that Siobhan Walker unfortunately broke his arm. Travis Lulay went out. They basically had a monsoon come through here.
Yeah, fortunately avoiding the injuries thus far tonight, but this weather is absolutely unreal. Just sheets of rain coming down.
And they'll play on. 2nd and 10. 3-man rush. Burris now. Near sideline, and again, a ball that normally, under normal conditions, and yeah, you could talk about all the drops. 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10, you're seeing balls that normally would be caught. Concentration levels are tough. You look into the lights, you got raindrops, and of course, the ball is absolutely soaking.
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure that one was all about the soaking wet ball as much as the oncoming defender. Looked like Siobhan Walker took a little peek.
Shakes off his hands. Kendall Lawrence to receive this kick. One hopper. Now the other way, and he's got some room down the sideline. Gets a couple of great blocks. Kendall Lawrence ran probably about 70 yards on that kick to pick up 24, but still made something out of what looked like was going to be nothing.
Well, some of the special teamers who absolutely craved the opportunity for the ear-hole blocks loved this return because they had their men set up nicely as Lawrence started right. When he goes back left, there are some great peel-back blocks here by some of the men on that Eskimo punt return unit.
Another good setup, good start position again for the Eskimos, who just have not been able to find the house. They did so often last week, routing the Red Blacks in Edmonton. Play action, far side. Darius Bowman hasn't been heard from in quite some time tonight. But it looks like it's a first down. Very close to it.
Bowman left alone over near that sideline. Thinks a little bit about juking, but then decides shortest distance between 2 points is in a straight line.
Here's the thing, too. You can make all the moves you want. This is another effect of the rain. As you've seen so many times, guys start thinking about running with the football. It slips from their grasp. Don't want to make a mistake here. And it's going to be second down in inches.
Second down. Inside. No, on the hash.
Right behind the white line.
Yep. Second down, yeah.
There's a great demonstration of how to measure and mark a football right there.
Tim Croker and his crew.
Somebody's got to buy Chris Jones a rain jacket. Second in inches. And Nichols is pushed back, but forward progression should have, it looked like, got him the first down. They give it the signal, and they'll move the chains.
Good push, and there he's got it.
Justin Capicotti pushed him back, but had already secured the first down. Shakir Bell to a scrum, but picks up about half the first down yardage, maybe 4 yards in his first CFL game. What an impressive performance. 10 carries, 95 yards for Shakir Bell. Again, playing this week because of the injury to Chad Simpson. Always be ready. Opportunity can knock at any time. Comes the blitz. Down the sideline. Jump ball. Another interception. Brandon McDonald. The third pick thrown by Matt Nichols tonight. And all near the Ottawa goal line. Brandon McDonald, who began last season with the Calgary Stampeders, joined the Red Blacks late in the season and has his first pick.
Yeah, and it's a one-on-one matchup here. That's what Edmonton's trying to set up with Kenny Stafford. They've completed a couple of these jump balls to him earlier in this ball game, but this time McDonald is perfectly positioned, running in that hip pocket. No unnecessary contact. Turns, locates the ball, and just goes up and gets it. Perfect defensive play by the second-year corner.
So again, the Red Blacks secondary coming up huge, taking away potential score plays tonight. Still no touchdowns in this game. Kenny Stafford and Matt Nichols, Jarius Jackson in between. Another long field, though, for Henry Burris. Now the rain seems to have died off a little bit. Bring it again. Burris goes over the middle, and they want an interference call. They'll get it. Ernest Jackson. Downfield. Watched closely by Marcel Young, who will be penalized here.
Pass interference, Edmonton number 26. First down.
Ernest Jackson is the slot into the boundary. Stems it upfield, and then as he tries to break inside, halfback Marcel Young realizes he's in a little bit of trouble. Has to do something to impede that receiver before he breaks away.
Gets them out of a hole. There's Sinopoli on the far side, and he's going to fight for extra yardage. Eventually buried by Koshi Mwamba, but not after he picked up 7 yards.
Critical for Ottawa here, starting backed up in their own end. Just in terms of the field position, one of the issues that plagued them last week was that they were constantly giving the Edmonton Eskimos short fields. Matt Nichols was able to be very productive without having to pile up yardage. Here they got to get a couple of first downs and make sure, even if they end up punting the ball away, that it's not a short field.
Henry Burris chased and dumps it off. And a first down to Ernest Jackson. Now Burris has been able to read that rush so far, and that has been a very successful play for the Red Blacks.
Well, this is kind of a creative play as there's a lot of flow on the front side of the play with receivers moving to the left, Burris rolling to his left on the play. Jackson just comes a little bit behind all that flow. He looks like he's going to block on the backside and just slides behind the line of scrimmage to pick up that pass.
Pump fake comes the other side. Siobhan Walker snowed under. Corey Jones makes the play on Siobhan Walker. Maybe just to the line of scrimmage. Actually, it might even be a loss of about a half yard.
And these last couple plays from the Ottawa Redblacks are an indication of what Edmonton's strength is. Rushing the passer, providing pressure. That's why you're seeing the screen game, is to try and slow them down a little bit. That time, unfortunately, the blockers in front of Walker didn't get on their guys.
Second down conversion. Brad Sinopoli's been one of the best in the CFL, but movement.
Procedure, Ottawa number 67. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Colin Kelly, right tackle. So it makes this second down play even longer. 2.5 to go in this third quarter.
And you can attribute that twitch as well to a steady diet of Odell Willis, Marcus Howard, and Willie Jefferson coming off the edge.
They show 4 rushers. They send 4. Deep drop. And now open field, but he's got to cut back. And again, going to Brad Sinopoli on second down, but he gets to the initial line of scrimmage, and again, they'll have to punt the football away. You know, there have been so many procedure calls and offside calls, and everybody's talking about the proliferation of penalties early in the season. Might that be attributed, those procedure calls, to some of the looks defensively that we are seeing? Almost every team is bringing the house here.
Yeah, I think that's a factor. A little bit more movement at the line of scrimmage. Some different looks in terms of pressure as well. And offenses get a little bit jumpy as offensive linemen when you know you got to get somewhere in a hurry to get in position to block somebody.
After the play, objectionable conduct. Edmonton number 41. 10-yard penalty.
Oh my goodness. Odell Willis, objectionable conduct, and Chris Jones is going to hate this, because just when the Red Blacks were looking to kick the ball away, they'll keep this drive moving.
Well, I'll tell you what, during that play, well away from the ball, I think it was Colin Kelly, the Ottawa offensive lineman, that had a knockdown on Odell Willis away from the ball, and Willis got up and was irate, obviously said something that led to this flag, resulting in an Ottawa first down.
This could come back and haunt the Eskimos. Drive continues. Burris goes over the top. Ellingson gathers it in up near the midfield stripe, about 1.5 yards away from a first down. They'll hurry up again. Odell Willis trying to plead his case on the sideline. Keep it on the ground, and this will depend on the spot. Looks like it's going to be a first down.
Well, we're going back to the flag on Odell Willis. By this point, the teams are, everybody's walking off the field, but follow Willis as he goes into that sideline, right into the Ottawa bench.
And there's the side judge as well. He watched that take place the whole time.
But prior to that, he had gone and had words with Kelly on the field after Kelly took that shot at him away from the ball.
By the nose of a football, first down, Ottawa. Final minute, third quarter.
Well, we've talked at length about the missed opportunities by the Edmonton offense in this ball game, about a missed opportunity to get off the field here for the Edmonton defense.
Burris back in shotgun, 1st and 10 again. Burris now dances out of the pocket, and again fires a pass, and for more yardage it's Sinopoli once more. Brad Sinopoli, the Peterborough, Ontario native, played with the Calgary Stampeders the last few years, won a Grey Cup with them last year, was injured most of the season. Now a member of the Ottawa REDBLACKS. 5 for 52 yards for Sinopoli here tonight.
Becomes such a reliable possession guy for Henry Burris.
REDBLACKS again moving the football. They have been unable to get to the red zone and finish, and that was an issue last year. Their inability to score in the red zone, to finish plays, did not score many touchdowns. Jock Sanders is into the game, gets his first touch. Picked up a former Stampeder as well, a guy who's won Grey Cup rings the last 2 years. Calgary, and then before that, Saskatchewan. First down again. Last play, third quarter. Sanders in motion, 6 receivers. Burris dumping it off. Ernest Jackson again on that little crossing pattern, so the teams will switch sides here. There's the signal. That's the end of the quarter. We head to the fourth. Odell Willis is steaming. REDBLACKS are moving the football because of that penalty. In the rain here in Ottawa tonight. Still waiting for our first touchdown. Fourth quarter, a touchdownless football game here tonight. 11-6 for the Edmonton Eskimos. The kickers doing the damage so far, but also the defenses and Mother Nature as well, because there's been a lot of rain. The difference in this ball game, though, the Ottawa secondary, big play interceptions that have absolutely reversed this ball game, because this score can be considerably different right now.
Yeah, some timely picks for sure. At a time early in this ball game, the score 2-0 for Edmonton at this point. Looking for Corey Watson in the end zone. Jarrell Gavins comes up with an interception. A little while later, 5-0. Javon Johnson comes up with an interception. You just look at the potential points taken off the board. I mean, all of these are happening where Edmonton is in position at the very least to get field goals, if not touchdowns. The Edmonton Eskimos, regardless of the outcome of this football game, are going to regret all these missed opportunities.
And also that penalty by Odell Willis, which kept this drive alive. Javon Walker in traffic will move the sticks again. And since that penalty, Odell Willis, who went down the wrong sideline, the opposite bench has not moved from his sideline. Another dump off. Helmet down. Ernest Jackson again. So another second down coming up.
And this is how I like to see the Ottawa REDBLACKS using Ernest Jackson, taking advantage of his size. The short, quick hitters on the inside. They're such a big part of the game plan in week 1 against the Montreal Alouettes.
Such a big part of the CFL right now. A lot of short hitters so far, short offensive tosses and plays because of all these rushes. Now Walker. Chevy has another first down. And here's the game plan right now. Henry Burris is letting these guys come at him, and he's dumping the football off.
Take advantage of the pressure. This is your counterpunch, so to speak, to what the Edmonton Eskimos do best. Slip Siobhan Walker out of the backfield or position Walker for the screen.
First and 10 inside the 15, and a slant pattern. Now to Chris Williams, watched by Patrick Watkins.
Well, it looked for a second like this one might be going the other way as J.C. Sherritt sniffed it out all the way, but just couldn't get a hand on the ball. Sherritt over the left guard. You see how fast he flowed out there. He's reading the eyes of the quarterback. Just a half step late.
Second down, they hand it off, and the good news is that they may be able to reset the downs and go first and goal. They had to get to the 3.5, and it looks like it could be first and goal. It is for the REDBLACKS. What a drive. Clock-chewing drive here by the REDBLACKS, aided by that Odell Willis infraction.
Well, the REDBLACKS have controlled the ball over 10 minutes time of possession in that third quarter.
So here we go, first and goal. Burris is in the shotgun with Walker backfield. He gets the rock, and Siobhan Walker will not score. Stood up at the goal line. But he did pick up maybe 1.5 yards.
Yeah, cut that distance in half.
Makes you wonder why a lot of times teams just don't continue that MO. Will they go there again? Doesn't look like it. Burris behind center, goes forward, he scores! Touchdown, Ottawa. Penalty flag, far side of the field.
Offside, Edmonton number 23. The penalty is declined. Touchdown's good.
Finally a touchdown at TD Place tonight. They'll saw off one of those wood cookies in celebration, and Henry Burris engineered that drive after the Odell Willis objectionable conduct penalty, and he caps it off himself. They're going to go for 2.
Well, the worst penalties have a funny way of being the most costly, don't they?
And all Odell Willis could do was stew and watch. 13 plays, a 106-yard drive, 9 minutes and 7 seconds on the clock, but the drive had virtually ended, if not for...
Well, I mean, not even virtually. It had literally ended. I mean, the Edmonton defense was coming off the field. Odell Willis was on the sidelines when he got flagged.
But he was on the wrong sideline, on the wrong bench. And it cost his team a touchdown. So they'll go for 2. It's from the 3-yard line. First lead for the REDBLACKS. Looking end zone. And incomplete. So it's a 1-point ball game now. The Edmonton Eskimos look to punch back in a defensive struggle in the rain. Big drive. Henry Burris. Touchdown, REDBLACKS. Wood cookies sawed off. Wendy's Friday Night Football. The veteran, 15 years in the league, 40-year-old Henry Burris. He's played in games like this before in inclement conditions. They gut it out, aided by a penalty. They have their first lead, the Ottawa REDBLACKS do tonight. And here come the sheets of rain again. And Lawrence from his 20. Slipping and sliding. Let's go back to the 2-point convert attempt. Seen a lot more of those this year with the new rules in place.
This one played out perfectly for Ottawa. They're going to use a stack with 2 receivers here. Jackson's going to go first. He's going straight down the seam. Chris Williams is going to the flat. You're going to see 3 Edmonton defenders all turn to the outside and go with Williams. Everybody leaves Ernest Jackson alone.
but it looks like he turns outside as if he's kind of going to the corner. Henry Burris throws it inside to a seam, and Jackson just didn't get turned well enough to adjust and make a play.
Shakir Bell again goes over 100 yards in his CFL debut. It was almost the Ottawa REDBLACKS actually controlled the weather, because when they got the ball, the rain stopped. When Edmonton got the ball back, the rain started again.
Yeah, Mother Nature's a homer.
They try to go up the gut again. Justin Capicotti, the former Edmonton Eskimo, did not play last week. Gets up, he's in pain too after that play. Looks like he's going to take the knee. Capicotti, who hurt his shoulder or arm in the preseason, played the first 2 games, did not play last week against his old mates in Edmonton.
As he hobbles off here, this one clearly a lower body injury. Take him out. Kalanji Kashama comes in his place.
Matt Nichols trying to get his play in order in this deluge. 10 minutes to go, fourth quarter. First and 10. Decides to throw. Goes deep, and catching the football and taking it to the house is Kendall Lawrence. What a play by the Eskimos as Kendall Lawrence gets behind cover, and the Eskimos score their first touchdown tonight. Kendall Lawrence, a 63-yard catch and run major score.
Good recognition of a mismatch in man coverage. That's the linebacker, Damaso Munoz, trying to run in coverage with Kendall Lawrence. Lawrence, the burner, gets a step on him. Again, nice teardrop pass from Matt Nichols.
He was the game changer offensively last week as well. Kendall Lawrence comes up with another huge play here.
Yeah, doing it at home last week, and here silencing the Ottawa fans.
So the lead was short-lived. Only a minute or so, and the Eskimos answer in a big way. Biggest play offensively in the ballgame. And they also will go for 2.
Yeah, doing the math with a 5-point lead right now. They have to go for 2.
Teams operating at 72% this season. Now 14 for 20. Nichols and Darius Bowman can't make the play. So the lead is back to 5. Finally, some touchdowns here in TD Place tonight. Still anybody's ball game. Kendall Lawrence to the end zone. His 3rd touchdown of the early season. CFL on TSN is brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. Don't forget, second half of our doubleheader coming up. Rough Riders and Lions. Kendall Lawrence, 3rd touchdown in 2 weeks against the Ottawa REDBLACKS. That may have been an absolute game changer. Jock Sanders now cuts back, and he'll have to step out of bounds near the 38-yard line.
Well, let's go take a look back at this Kendall Lawrence touchdown. He's going to actually line up as the running back on this play. And what that does by alignment, remember we talked about his versatility. He's a legit slot back in the Canadian Football League, but by lining him up as the running back, in terms of responsibilities, it puts a linebacker, Damaso Munoz, on him in man coverage. Immediately as he releases, Matt Nichols recognizes the mismatch and puts it up and lets number 32 run under it.
Kendall Lawrence and Shakir Bell tonight have provided a great 1-2 punch now. Counter punch for the Eskimos, and Odell Willis has been relegated to a cheerleader right now.
A very costly penalty that won't quickly be forgiven by his head coach, Chris Jones.
2nd down and 6. Burris be able to orchestrate another drive here. 8.5 to go, fourth quarter. REDBLACKS convert again. And they'll give him progression. Ernest Jackson scrapping away with Dexter McCoyle. Moving the chains again. This game completely different for the Ottawa REDBLACKS as opposed to last week. They were out of the game by this point.
Well, no question. And the irony is that they could have been out real early here. But they stuck around, hung around, courtesy of some Eskimo drops.
Inside handoff on a bit of a reverse here. It doesn't pick up much yardage. So again, they'll have to convert on second down.
And they got to keep this drive going. From an Ottawa perspective, they had gained all the momentum in this ball game from the middle of the third quarter on. And then very quickly with that quick strike, when it is all swung in Ottawa's favor, Edmonton turned it around. They've got to do something here to stem that tide.
REDBLACKS looking for their third win. Did not pick up 3 wins last year, just 2 at 2-16 mark. Burris over the top, in trouble here, and he's very lucky that that was not intercepted, as he took a hit as he delivered the football. Otha Foster retreating. That ball was up for grabs.
Edmonton's mixing things up in terms of their 4D linemen. You've got the 3 down guys. There's the 4th guy. That's Marcus Howard. Moving him around. A good edge pass rusher, a speed guy. By moving him around, it creates confusion in the count. Comes free with a big hit on Burris.
Anthony Alix, and it's Kendall Lawrence again who's changed this game back to return. Alix angles it. Goes off an Eskimo. Going to call no yards. Ball went bounding off an Eskimo. So 17-12 Edmonton here on Wendy's Friday Night Football.
Eskimos and REDBLACKS, part 2 of our Wendy's Friday Night Football doubleheader from Mosaic and Regina. Travis Lulay and the BC Lions, who came back and beat the Riders in overtime last week. They face them again, the rematch. Saskatchewan still looking for its first win of the season as we go back to Rod and Dwayne in Ottawa.
All right, thank you, Rod. Getting tense around here. Shakir Bell dangles a little bit and still on his feet, and Shakir Bell has an incredible run when he was stopped near the line of scrimmage, and this guy has been nothing but sensational here tonight.
So we've seen him block. We know he's tough. We've seen him burst through holes. We knew he was quick, but how about the balance on this play as he gets spun? And just to stay up, move those chains.
Going for the kill shot downfield again, and it is caught, but out of bounds. And Kenny Stafford dropped the football as well, as Matt Nichols went deep. First down shot, why not?
We've seen it a number of times through this ball game. They like the size of Kenny Stafford. Take advantage of that height. Ottawa's a team that's not particularly big on the back end defensively. With guys like Stafford and Bowman have an opportunity to take a few of those shots.
Time ticking away here, 6 to go, fourth quarter, 5-point Eskimo lead. 2nd and 10 from the 41. Here's the heat, there goes the football, and it's caught on the sideline. Oh, they're saying incomplete for Stafford. There's a penalty flag in the backfield as well. Just after Nichols threw the football.
Foul, roughing the passer. Ottawa, number 98. It's a 15-yard penalty.
Costly penalty here for Ottawa. Marlon Smith got too close to Matt Nichols. 15-yarder.
And it's Marlon Smith coming off the edge. We'll see here whether it's the timing or whether he gets Nichols up high.
Tried to stay off of him, but still collided.
Yeah, I think it has as much to do with where the contact occurred as the timing, more so than the timing, rather.
Inside REDBLACK territory. They load up the house here. Double tight end set. Nichols slant pattern. Corey Watson's wide open. Watson comes back the other way. Another big play here from Matt Nichols to Corey Watson. And now Edmonton's moving the ball at will.
Big play as you see the physical play and toughness of Corey Watson. Making the grab on the inside and breaking a couple of tackles here. Arm tackle isn't going to bring number 18 down.
Just like the Ottawa drive earlier, this drive assisted by a penalty because Edmonton would have had to kick had Marlon Smith not knocked down Matt Nichols. Bell again. Gavins with the tackle. So a critical second down play for both teams here as the clock ticks under 5. It'll be second down and 4 to go from the Ottawa 32-yard line.
Preserving field position here has to be part of the consideration as a field goal is valuable still with a 5-point lead for Edmonton.
Nichols play action, looking for a man. Now looking for Calvin McCarty, can't run underneath it, so the REDBLACKS D stands tall here, but there's a penalty flag again on the far side of the field. Penalty is against the Eskimos.
Illegal interference blocking downfield. Edmonton number 64. Penalties decline. Third down.
So Grant Shaw will come out and try to make this an 8-point ball game.
Well, last year Grant Shaw hit a late game winner here in Ottawa. This is another clutch kick.
20 seconds to go last year for Shaw. 10-8 game. Perfect tonight. His longest, though, this is from the 39. Here is the kick, and it is up, and it is good. Shaw has done it again. So the lead is now 8 with 4:10 to go in the fourth.
Matt Nichols still on holding duty for Grant Shaw despite taking over as the starting quarterback. Got that one down perfectly.
Grant Shaw perfect on the season now. 7 for 7, 4 for 4 tonight. Toronto FC returns to TSN Saturday against Philadelphia. 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific on TSN 1, 3, and 4. Canadian football here tonight in Ottawa. Now, the REDBLACKS down 8. Henry Burris, 3-man rush, swings it out far side. Mo Price collects that. Looks like it's going to be about 2nd and 2 here.
Well, Milt Stiegel said it in the pregame show. In terms of bouncing back, it's not necessarily enough for Ottawa just to play well or keep it close. They need to win this football game.
Chance to go where they haven't gone before, and a fumbled football, and the Edmonton Eskimos have recovered. That bobble, that play may have cost the REDBLACKS this game. Of all times, in their own zone. And it was Jock Sanders, who hasn't had a lot of touches in this ball game, who fumbled the football. And Aaron Grimes recovers. Coach loves it.
That man made that play, baby.
So Armando Sewell and J.C. Sherritt holding it down in the middle. Creating that fumble. Grimes with the recovery.
Matt Nichols can keep this on the ground here. Gives it to Bell. Scurries outside. Knocked backwards now, but still goes forward. Shakir Bell, what an impressive debut. So an opportunity here for the Eskimos to not only eat some time up before the 3-minute warning, but possibly put this out of reach by making it a 2-possession game.
Yeah, absolutely the goal here.
Kendall Lawrence returns to the huddle. Second down and 6. Nichols wants to throw. Sideline, close to the first down. Fighting for it is Nate Kuhorn. Had to get to about the 28.5-yard line. Spotted inside the 30. Might be third down here. It is going to be third down. They're about 1.5 yards shy. And they'll bring out Grant Shaw again to kick a field goal when we come back. 3-minute warning. And a costly fumble by the Red Blacks. Wendy's Friday Night Football brought to you by Wendy's Baconator and Bacon Poutine. Wendy's. Now that's better. A wild game here tonight in the rain in Ottawa. Once again, it looks like it's stopped for Grant Shaw. 8-point game.
Chris Williams is right at the back of the end zone because he's got to get this out. They can't give up a single here.
Shaw's been perfect on the season, though, and he remains perfect. Moot point. Grant Shaw boots 3 points. And now a 2-possession ball game.
Grant Shaw comes up clutch. Back-to-back here for the Edmonton Eskimos.
2 years in a row here in Ottawa, coming up with huge performances. High snap, Nichols gets it down. And the guy who recovered that fumble loved it. Well, it is the CFL, you never know. 2:20 to go, but Ottawa has to hurry to get to the end zone. 11-point game. Burris steps up, just pitches it out. Up near the 42-yard line for Williams.
The Eskimos at this stage just committed to not giving up the deep ball.
Game full of turning points. First half, 3 picks by the Red Blacks, keeping the Eskimos out of the end zone. Ottawa drives after an Odell Willis costly penalty. Burris back now, in trouble, down he goes. He's sacked. Marcus Howard spent most of last year on the injury list. Has his 3rd sack of the season.
Marcus Howard right at the top right edge of your screen. Just a speed rush on Sir Vincent Rogers. The big guy couldn't move the feet fast enough to get in front of him.
Eskimos D has come up with big plays, though. That play, the Grimes fumble. 4-man rush, pump fake, and down goes the football. And so does Burris as Howard is there again. Marcus Howard, you know, normally the Edmonton Eskimo D-line, they like to somersault and flip and all that, and I know the field's a little wet, maybe the conditions, but Marcus Howard said he's done with rolling over.
Yeah, that's not his thing. He's on a mission this year, though. Feels he's got something to prove.
So a turnover on downs. That's it for the Ottawa Red Blacks. The Eskimos can just melt this one away. You look at the biggest turning point, perhaps, that touchdown toss to Kendall Lawrence.
Oh, no doubt about it. At that point in the game, Ottawa had all the momentum. They had controlled the clock for the better part of a quarter straight. But that one big play, 2 weeks in a row, the game breaker has been Kendall Lawrence.
Shakir Bell up the middle. And that ball thrown in an absolute torrential downpour. The rain started up again, so it wasn't pretty by any stretch for Matt Nichols this week, but he's getting the job done.
Yeah, ultimately the only stat that counts in the end. Wins and losses.
16 carries for Shakir Bell, 2nd and 3, 135 yards. Carry the mail again. And he will move the sticks and ultimately bring this clock down even further. The Eskimos can take this right down to the wire now. Edmonton Eskimos spanked Ottawa last week at home. Much closer game this time around. Next week they are back home against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Key tussle in the West. Another stutter step. This guy has got some different gears. Shakir Bell.
When you think about the number of times in this ball game that it's looked like Shakir Bell would be stopped in the backfield. He's managed with a couple of slick dance moves to make something out of nothing.
We're back here next week. Another Friday night game. Ottawa REDBLACKS. We're going to fall to 2-2 now. Face the daunting task of the Calgary Stampeders. Bell knocked out of bounds. So week 4, producing a couple of early defensive games. Last night in Montreal.
Your goal line. Your goal line.
Tonight here in Ottawa. Don't forget, we'll send you out west. Lions and Rough Riders coming up. Second half of our Wendy's Friday night doubleheader. Edmonton Eskimos are going to go to 2-1. Lynch comes into the ball game now. 3rd and 1. Piles forward. There is Jordan Lynch out of Northern Illinois, a guy with a great college career, was a Heisman finalist back in 2013. Lost out to a pretty good quarterback, Jameis Winston. Spent some time in Chicago with the Bears in a preseason audition. The Eskimos are going into victory formation, it looks like. Wind it down. Couple of big plays in the 4th quarter. The Edmonton Eskimos are going to go to 2-1. And look at the logjam atop the CFL West. Eskimos without Mike Riley and other key personnel. John White, Shamad Chambers, Simeon Rotier, doesn't matter. Last week a blowout, this week a lot closer, but make no mistake, the Edmonton Eskimos have the Ottawa REDBLACKS number. Final tonight 23-12, and the REDBLACKS, after their 2-0 start, have now lost 2 straight.
Yeah, dropping to 500, but still obviously very much in the mix in the East Division.
Well, big plays in this game. Kendall Lawrence, of course, had the big play in the 4th, but our Nissan Titan Player of the Game is brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. It wasn't Lawrence, but it was the other guy.
Yeah, in his CFL debut, Shakir Bell coming off the practice roster, filling in for an injured Chad Simpson. He looks like he could be here to stay. 18 carries, 143 yards, countless highlights for number 33. An outstanding performance from Shakir Bell, and that makes him our Nissan Titan Player of the Game.
They don't know nothing about that volleyball, man.
Guy who spent some time on the practice roster, did not know much about the Canadian Football League. One thing he knows now is that he can have success. Number 33 had a great game, but Kendall Lawrence had the play of the game thanks to the toss from Matt Nichols. That was the difference in this one. Final tonight, 23-12 Eskimos on Wendy's Friday Night Football. Game number 1. They come east, and they take one away in Ottawa in the driving rain. And guess what? The rain has stopped as we send it back to the studio.
Thank you, Rod. And coming up, part 2 from Mosaic and Regina. You have the Lions and the Saskatchewan Roughriders rematch after Saskatchewan fell to 0-3 with an overtime loss, losing in overtime for 2 straight games. So that one is coming up in about 15-20 minutes time, part 2, Wendy's Friday Night Football. Welcome back. Rod Smith in the studio, along with the panel of Milt Stiegel, Paul Lapolice, and Chris Schultz. Well, the Edmonton Eskimos now 2-1, tied with Calgary and Winnipeg, by the way, for first place in the West Division, looking a lot better after they lost decisively to the Argos in Week 1. Yeah, a lot can change week to week. Certainly can for the Ottawa REDBLACKS as well. They'll look a lot more ordinary after their good start. But let's talk about the Eskimos first, Schultz, and who impressed you tonight?
You know, Rod, this was really easy. When you think about a running back playing his very first Canadian Football League game, Shakir Bell had an outstanding game. Not just in the fact that he rushed for 143 yards in only 18 carries, but it's the way he does it, the second effort that he has, the leverage that he has. And what I notice is all the time he secures the football, he keeps it tight to his body, and he's very good at reading opportunity, accelerating through opportunity, and then also making things happen.